I'd like to congregation repeat this after me. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I'm at the right place
I'm at the right place
at the right time.
at the right time.
I'm at the right place
I'm at the right place
at the right time.
at the right time.
I'm at the right place
I'm at the right place
at the right time.
at the right time.
Hallelujah. 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 That was on my mind today. I'm at the right place at the right time. Well, when I got baptized, I said, this is where I won't be. I'm going to stick to my promise.
Of a lesson entitled, What the H-E-L-L You Think You Doing? A Shemite man called the temple and left a derogatory voicemail message which only said, what the H-E-L-L you think you doing? First of all, like we said in the first show, we forgive you. Let's go to Romans the 8th chapter. Romans the 8th chapter. So it's the devil's practice to accuse Yahweh and whoever is following him of doing things wrong. Doing things not like they should be done. So that's not unusual.
Right.
Romans 8, let's start at verse 33, please.
Hallelujah.
Romans chapter 8 and verse 33. Who shall lay anything to the charge of Elohim, and that it is Elohim that justifieth?
34.
Verse 34. Who is he that condemneth? It is Mashiach that died, yea, rather, that is risen again.
Alright, so who is condemning, calling, talking about what you think you're doing? It says, who's gonna accuse, which is the devil's practice, or lay anything to the charge of Elohim's elect. This is us, the very elect. It's him that justified us. It's him that called us. Who is someone that's condemning you? We know it's only two forces out here, Yahweh and the devil.
That's it.
Yes, yes.
It says, whoever's condemning you is the Messiah that moved, yea, rather, that's risen again for you. He's at the Yamin of the right hand of Elohim making intercession for you and me.
Yep.
As the Ruach said in the first show, my picture is in Yahweh's wallet. Your
Hallelujah.
picture is in Yahweh's wallet too.
Hallelujah.
People flip out their cell phone and they flip out their, oh, see, these are my children, these are my grandchildren. Hey, our picture is in Yahweh's wallet. So whoever is condemning or saying you're doing something wrong, let them know, hey, my picture's in Yahweh's wallet. Get out of here. I don't have to do anything to please you.
Right.
All right, let's go to 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter. 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter. We want to read one verse, verse 12. 2 Timothy 3
Hallelujah.
and verse 12. So now here's Yahweh letting us know, because sometimes people think when you come to Yahweh, you're supposed to get your pink Cadillac or your blue Cadillac, and you're supposed to be laying back and everything is cushy and nice and soft. All right? He's letting you know now. You know when you're on the right path when this happens to you. 2 Timothy 3, verse 12.
Hallelujah.
2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 12. Yea, and all that will live Elohim in Mashiach Yeshua shall suffer persecution.
Now if you're doing this thing right, he said, this is what's going to happen to you.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
devil's going to be mistaking you for Yeshua. You're going to say, oh, shucks, I thought I killed him. I thought I got rid of him. He's seeing the same thing in you
Right.
that he saw
Hallelujah.
in the Messiah. He said, yes, yea and amen. Yes, so be it. All that will live sadaqah or righteous in the Messiah Yeshua shall suffer persecution. You're going to feel the heat of those that don't like you standing up to represent Yahweh and Yeshua, but that's all right. That's not a problem. Let's go to Romans the 8th chapter. So how can you protect yourself? Actually, you don't have to protect yourself.
No.
Yahweh is protecting you.
Yes.
But, Romans the 8th chapter, the best protection against the devil and his lies is to know the truth of what Yahweh said
That's
in his word.
Stand on
Romans the 8th chapter. He tells you who you are. He tells you what you're doing. You don't need any man to tell you what to do.
No. Only
Romans
our
8 and verse 31. So the
Hallelujah.
best protection against the lies, against the persecution, against the attacks is to know what Yahweh said in
That's
His word,
it.
which
And
is the truth.
stand on it.
Romans 8:31.
Romans 8, chapter 8, verse 31. What shall we say then to these things? If Elohim be for us, who can be against us?
No one.
Hey, we're on the winning side.
No one.
So then, what do you say against somebody calling and leaving something like that on the physical? We are the spiritual.
That's
temple.
right.
All right, but what do you say again? He tells you right there. What shall you say then to these things? If Yahweh, if Elohim, the mighty one, if the maker and creator of the universe be for us, and He's for us,
Yes.
sent Yeshua to die for us,
That's right. That's right.
who can be against us?
No one.
All right, only somebody following the fool that was in Shemayim that got kicked out,
Right,
that Yahweh created the lake of fire for. All right, so we have to understand this and to stand on this, because this is the truth. In the end, when all the dust settled, when all the fighting stopped, guess who's going to be standing? Yahweh and Yeshua and us.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Those that are on His side. Let's go to Mark the 4th chapter. Mark the 4th chapter. So Yeshua talked about the straight and narrow path, and He talked about the scripture, Yahweh's words, being received among thorns. Among thorns. Why? Are you living in a thorny world?
Yep. Praise the mighty God.
Mark 4 and verse 18.
Hallelujah.
We're going to be moving a little fast because we got a lot to cover.
Mark chapter 4 and verse 18. And these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word.
Now, you're hearing the word now. But there can be some thorns among you depending on what people's minds are on, or what backgrounds and experiences they've had.
Yeah.
And they can ignorantly or knowingly evaluate the word from their experiences or some knowledge that they had before they came to Yahweh. It says, these are they which are sown among thorns. They're hearing the word. But then you're going to see they hear, but the word doesn't convert into them. It doesn't change them into being what Yahweh called them to be. This English word thorns is the Greek word found at Blue Letter Bible number 173. Vine's Expository Dictionary defines thorns as briars with a prickly point. So what happens when you touch something with a prickly point? It can make you bleed. They got some kind of something where if somebody has a disease, they prick their finger or whatever, or they stick themselves with needles. I'm not about that. Yahweh's not about that, but I'm just saying, when you touch something prickly, it's going to make you bleed. It's going to hurt you. Let's go to Mark the 15th chapter. So the devil wants to get that prickly hold on Yahweh's people's necks. But because of Yeshua, he'll never do it. He wants to prick you. He wants to make you bleed, but you don't have to bleed. Yeshua bled for you already. What you going to go bleeding for? Hey, I like it that He bled for me. I will appropriate His blood for me. He told me that's the way I do it. I don't have to bleed again. All right? I'm not a masochist. Mark 15, and let's start at verse 16. Now the devil wants that chokehold. He wants to prick you, but because of Yeshua, he'll never do it as long as you stay up under what Yeshua got for you. As long as you recognize who you are.
That's it.
Mark 15 and 16.
Mark chapter 15 and verse 16. And the soldiers led Him away into the hall called Praetorium, and they called together the whole band.
17.
Verse 17. And they clothed Him with purple and plaited a crown of thorns and put it about His head.
18.
Verse 18. And began to salute Him, Hail, King of the Jews.
Now He was. That was His righteous title, but they were mocking Him. They were making fun of Him. It says the soldiers took Him into this hall called Praetorium. And then they clothed Him with purple. Purple is a royalty color. Then they plaited a crown of thorns and put it on His head. It says about His head, but they put it on His head. All right. They placed it on so those prickly thorns could come down into His head. And then they began to mock Him, saying, Hail,
Right.
Malach of Melech of the Yadim. So this crown of thorns was placed on Mashiach's head in mock imitation of the garlands worn by Roman emperors.
Right.
The crown of thorns was platted by the soldiers and is usually identified. They named this crown of thorns, the Romans did, Ziziphus spina Christi, known as Christ's thorn jujube. It's from an evergreen tree or plant in northern and tropical Africa, southern and western Asia, and it grows over 20 feet tall. It lies on the Jordan River and is abundant in Palestine. Let's go to Matthew, the 27th chapter. We want to look at this crown of thorn that they put on Yeshua's head. Because we just saw where the word, Matthew 27, you will receive the word among thorns.
Yeah, yeah.
Matthew 27, and let's start at verse 27.
Hallelujah.
Matthew chapter 27, verse 27. Then the soldiers of the governor took Yeshua into the common hall and gathered unto him the whole band of soldiers.
28,
Verse 28. And they stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe.
29,
Verse 29. And when they had platted a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head, and a reed in his right hand. And they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews.
All right, so this is the truth. He is
Right,
the
right.
Malach or the king
Yeah.
of the Yadim. But they were making fun of him. Says the soldiers took him into the common hall, and then a whole group of soldiers stripped him. Then they put on him a scarlet robe. Well, whether it was purple or scarlet, these are all the colors of royalty that
Right,
Yahweh
right.
said, we as his people, he put those as part of the garments and different things in the temple. He had purple, he had gold, he had scarlet, he had blue.
Right,
so
right.
these are our colors.
Yes.
All right? But they platted this crown of thorns and they put it upon his head. So now we see, it wasn't about his head, it was on his head.
Right, right.
That prickly, those thorns. And a reed, they gave him some kind of weed to put in his hand, like it was his staff or it was
Right, right.
his rod of
That's
righteousness
right.
that the Bible says.
Right, right.
They bowed the knee before him and mocked him,
Uh-huh.
calling him Melech of the Yadim, which he was.
Yep, yep.
But that was Satan's way of imitating and making fun of
Right,
him.
right.
There's another species of thorn, the Arabian condal. They're platted in the crowns and sold in Jerusalem now as representative of Mashiach's crown. This is most likely the thorn referred to because its branches are easily adapted into the tortuous, spiky crown intended to make Mashiach's head bleed from being placed on it.
Okay.
So they intended to bring some,
Yep.
blood out of his head by pushing that crown of thorns on his head. The crown of thorns put on Yeshua's head represents how the devil aimed for Yahweh's people's minds,
Okay.
trying to get them focused on thinking about being attacked.
Okay.
See, that's what it
Y'all right,
represents.
Lord, tell like
All
it
right,
is, and
let's
have
go
to
to
know.
Matthew
Praise
13.
Yahweh.
Matthew 13.
Hallelujah,
It's
Yahweh.
going for your mind.
Okay, that's where it all starts, right?
You better, Yahweh said we have the mind of Mashiach, you better keep Mashiach.
That's right.
Matthew 13 and verse 22. But that's what that crown of
Hallelujah.
thorn on Yeshua's head represents.
Okay.
How the devil aims for your mind, trying
Yes,
to get
he
you
does.
focused on thinking about being attacked.
Uh-huh.
We already found out that's the walk, that's the path that you're
Yes,
on.
it is.
Well, don't focus on that, focus on what your job is.
Right.
13 and verse 22.
Matthew chapter 13, verse 22. He also that receives seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful.
Come.
All right, so we read that other scripture about how the word is sown or
Yep,
spoken
yep,
among
yep.
thorns.
Yeah.
Now he says, if you receive the word among the thorns, how do you avoid being pricked? He said, the one that receives it among the thorns is the one that Shamar hid to borrow the word, and the cares of this world. We saw in the first show, the devil's the one that sends the cares of this world. The devil's the one that has people focused on what's going on down here.
I know, right?
And not focused on what Yahweh
I
said
know,
in His
right?
Word. All right? And the deceitfulness of riches. Choke that word. That's the devil, that's his territory. To choke the word out of you. And then that person that received among thorns, the word becomes unfruitful.
Yep.
Let's go to 2 Corinthians 11. So we see where Yahweh's people, hey, you always have opportunities to quit.
Oh, yeah.
You have plenty of opportunities to quit.
Yeah.
But now Yahweh put enough in you
Yeah.
to cause you to understand and know what quitting is about.
Huh.
All right?
Ain't
Quitting
no.
is about, that's not on the list of choices that you have.
Nope.
Matthew, I'm sorry, 2 Corinthians 11, let's start at verse 24. So
Hallelujah.
we see where Shaul wanted to quit and go to the kingdom. Who doesn't want to just, you got some people saying, yeah, well, you know what, I just commit suicide and then I'll be in heaven. No, you won't. Why that's selfish.
Right. He said, thou
That's
shalt not
totally
kill.
about I, me, and mine. All right, 2 Corinthians 11, verse 24.
Hallelujah.
2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 24. Of the Jews 5 times receive I 40 stripes, save one.
25.
Verse 25. Thrice was I beaten with rods.
Huh.
Once was I stoned. Thrice I suffered shipwreck. A night and a day I have been in the deep.
Now, he wasn't off doing his own thing. He was doing what Yahweh
Right.
told him to do.
Right.
So we have to get an understanding about what the world has programmed into when you find Yahweh, when you the truth.
The truth.
We have to get an
divine.
understanding about it. That's why Yahweh said you gotta let him toughen you up.
Yes.
You gotta let him make you into a disciple.
Hallelujah.
There's a difference between a disciple and a disciplined one. I was listening to some preachers last night, and they were saying there's a difference between coming to boot camp and going to Boy Scout camp or Girl Scout camp.
Right.
All right, there's a difference.
Yes, it is.
All right, so he didn't do this just thinking up things in his own mind. He was doing it because he was doing what Yahweh told him to
Yes.
do. And all this came
No
on
matter
him.
what.
All right, verse 26.
Verse 26. In journeys often, in perils of water, in perils of robbers, in perils by my own countrymen,
Huh.
in perils by the heathen,
Huh.
in perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, in perils among false brethren.
Huh.
27.
Verse 27, in weariness and painfulness, in watchings often, in hunger and thirst, in fastings often, in cold and nakedness.
So that perils means danger.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Among the heathen, among the city, robbers, my own countrymen, in the wilderness, in the sea. But guess what? He was protected in those perils.
Yes.
Yahweh said that he's a refuge, he's a fortress, he's a strong tower. The
Yes.
Sadiq or the righteous run in and they're safe.
Yes, we
So it
are.
doesn't matter what situation you're in, you're always protected.
Yeah.
But Shaul didn't quit. He knew he had a job to do and he refused to quit until
Right.
he finished it. Go to Philippians, the 1st chapter. That's what we do.
Praise.
Those are
Almighty
people
God.
that we are among. Philippians, the 1st chapter. He knew he had a job to do
Yes.
and he refused to quit
I know, right?
until he finished it.
That's right.
And the sooner that we make that up in our mind, the easier this walk will be for us.
Yes. What a wonderful walk.
Philippians 1, and let's start at verse 21.
Praise Yahweh.
And there are people that look at you and well, what keeps them, what? We understand who we are.
Yes.
We understand what we're called to do.
Yes.
It's easy when you get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Then everything else that comes against you is like, it makes you wonder, well, why are people wondering? Why you keep going on? What's wrong with them?
I know, right?
Philippians 1, verse 21.
Philippians chapter 1, verse 21. For to me to live is Mashiach, and to die is gain.
Yes.
All right, so hey,
Yes.
we got it straight. For me to live
Yes.
is Mashiach. It's whatever Yahweh tells me to do. That's
Yes.
why I'm here.
Yes.
We settled that a long time ago.
All right.
We're not going back and forth. Okay, well, am I here? 'Cause, you know, am I not here? What am I here? No. We got that settled, as Yasser Ban Israel says, we got that settled in kindergarten.
Hallelujah.
For me, Tekaya is Mashiach.
Yes.
That's Yahweh living in me.
Yes.
And to die is gain. Why?
Yes.
Because then I'm with Yahweh and
That's
Yeshua.
the kingdom.
Then my job is over.
Yes.
Then, as we used to say years ago, I got it made in the shade.
Yeah.
Then I'm cruising. Then I'm on cruise
I know,
control.
right?
All the
Hallelujah.
brothers and sisters that have gone before me, they're on cruise control.
Yeah.
Hey, when they wake up, when
Yes.
that 7 shofar sounds, then they're going to see Yahweh and
I
Yeshua.
know, right?
Hey.
That's our game.
It's not like, oh, it's so
Thank you,
sad that, no, it's not.
No, it's
They
not.
died with Mashiach.
No, it's not.
They had
Yeah.
it made.
Yes.
All right? And we all will be so blessed.
Yes.
Verse 22.
Verse 22, but if I live in the flesh, this is the fruit of my labor.
Huh.
Yet what I shall choose, I walk not.
23.
Verse 23, for I am in a strait betwixt two, having a desire to depart and to be with Mashiach, which is far better.
Now, it's not just a little bit better than being here.
Yeah.
It's
It's a
far
I
better.
know, we right.
It's much better. He said, I'm caught between two places.
Right,
Hey, who
right.
don't want to quit and go to the kingdom? Who don't want to leave
I
here
know, right?
and stop dealing with what we have to deal with? But Yahweh is supposed to be dealing with it through us.
Yes.
It's not just us dealing with it.
No, it's not.
He says, I'm caught between two places.
Uh-huh.
I got a desire to leave and to be with Yahweh and Yeshua, which is far better. There's no comparison. That's the better choice
Yeah.
if I just don't understand what I'm here for. But then he comes back and he gives himself a reality check.
Right, right.
That's what I would like to do.
Uh-huh.
But verse 24, he knows what Yahweh wants
Yes.
him to do. 24.
Verse 24, nevertheless, to abide in the flesh is more needful for you.
Yes.
5.
Verse 25, and having this confidence, I know that I shall abide and continue with you all for your furtherance and joy of faith.
So that's why we continue on, because
Yes.
we're thinking about Yahweh first, and we're
Right.
thinking about you second.
Right.
It says, nevertheless, to stay in the flesh is more needful for you.
Right, right.
Whatever leader is standing up, whatever person has stood up and took the heat for you,
Right, right.
they did it, number one, for Yahweh.
Yes.
Just like Yeshua did it for Yahweh, and he did it for us.
Y'all right, right.
It's
Tell like it
needful
is.
for us to have people to continue to stand up and continue to be stable,
Hallelujah.
so Yahweh's people can understand how to grow up and how to come into this
Yes.
thing.
Hallelujah.
You don't need nobody flaking in the temple one week and flaking out the next week, depending on how they feel or what's
I know,
going
right?
on. You already got leaders in the world like that.
Yep.
The devil has plenty of people like that out there.
Yep.
You need to see Yahweh's standard of excellence. You
Yes.
need to see how Yahweh and Yeshua are. Because that's how we're going to be in the kingdom.
Uh-huh.
He's preparing you to be like that.
Yes.
And he said, have confidence. He said, I'm confident. I know that I shall stay and continue with you all for your furtherance. There are people still coming along.
I know,
They don't
right?
quite understand the word. You can tell they don't understand it because they're not doing it.
Huh.
People can be in this thing 20 or 30
Yeah,
years.
right, right. Tell like it
And you
is.
see, they still don't understand they're supposed to be at the temple
I
every
know,
week.
right?
It's not Yahweh that didn't tell them. It's those thorns where they got pricked and choked and their
Yeah.
fingers are bleeding and their mind is bleeding. They put on the crown of thorns themselves.
Yeah.
And when the blood runs out, the thought about what Yahweh said about what to do and how to do this in order to be successful, that runs out too. They got a hole in the bucket, right?
Right, right.
It says you had that confidence that Yahweh's going to keep his people with you and to continue for your furtherance and your joy of
Yes.
Imina so that you can make it through.
Praise
Let's go to Mark
the
the
mighty
fourth chapter. So the pressure, Mark 4, to give up is in the mind. That's
Uh-huh.
where the decision to quit or not is made.
Yup.
And the devil uses the cares of this world to try to attack the mind.
Yes.
Send those thorns, and then he wants you to pick it up and, roll it around in your hand and get all cut. And why would you pick that up? Like a piece of glass.
I
Why would
know,
you
right?
do that? The English word translated care and cares are one Greek word found in Blue Letter Bible number 3308 it means anxiety. They have all kind of drugs and stuff
Yeah.
out here now, because
They
people
do.
are anxious.
Yep.
And they're thinking about what will happen. Well, you have some people who won't even leave their house.
I know, right?
And one of the reasons they're watching the news 24 hours
That's
a day. If you never wanna, if you wanna stay in your house all the time, just watch the news.
I know,
They'll give you
right?
enough doom and gloom and people getting cut or people getting shot or people doing this and that where you won't ever want to leave your house. All right? But that's feeding yourself on the devil's diet.
Uh-huh.
So do that, and then
Sure.
you and your house will be very familiar. You won't ever leave.
Right.
Mark 4 and verse 19.
Hallelujah.
Mark chapter 4 and verse 19. And the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lust of other things entering in, choke the word, and it becometh unfruitful.
Yep.
Right, so those cares of this world means anxiety, being anxious, imagining all bad stuff happening.
Right.
That's why Yahweh came and you got this whole Bible full of good things that tell you all the good things that are
Yes.
happening to replace all that stuff the devil put into you.
Hallelujah.
All right? Yahweh's digging that up out of you.
Yes.
But if you want to hold on to those rocks and the glass and
Right.
everything that'll cut you up, you can't let Yahweh dig it up out of you. Vine's Expository Dictionary, New Testament words, right, cares as being connected to the Greek word found in Blue Letter Bible number 3307. It also means, cares of this world, to draw in different directions. Instead of being focused,
Right.
people get drawn in different directions. They get distracted,
All right.
which means they're off course.
Yep.
And it causes especially anxious care.
Okay.
Luke 21. Anxious care, which is negative, about bad things
Right.
that are going to happen. And Yahweh has told you already in His Word, I know my thoughts for you, their thoughts are good.
Yes.
So who you listening to when you're talking, thinking about what bad is going to happen to you? You listening to the devil.
Right.
You haven't studied Yahweh's Word. You don't believe what Yahweh told
That's
you.
it.
All right? See, we're not among those.
Not
I'm
anymore.
just using that you figuratively.
Right. Not anymore.
All right? Luke 21 and verse 34.
Hallelujah.
Luke chapter 21 verse 34. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that they come upon you unawares.
All right? And that's what happened when you lose focus. When you get distracted, when you're going in different directions, when you're not watching your feet and you're on this straight and narrow path.
All right.
People are off in gullies and ditches all beside the straight and narrow path
Yep.
and don't even realize it. Some of them got their pillows and got their blankets and made themselves comfortable off on the ditch on the side of the road,
Amen.
not even going towards the kingdom anymore,
Right.
and don't realize it. They're distracted. They're drawn in different directions.
Y'all right,
So
bro.
Thayer's Greek lexicon defines the cares of this life as being drawn in different directions, distracted, and anxious. Let's go to Hebrews the 12th chapter. So how do you combat that? Hebrews 12. Yahweh tells you the wrong direction, the wrong way to do it, and then He also tells you, okay, this is how you get over it.
Yes.
Hebrews 12. He doesn't just tell you the negative part. He tells you, okay, this is a solution.
This is how you get
This
out
is
of
the
it.
book of solutions.
Yes, it is.
If things are not going right in your life, the answers
yes.
are right in here.
Y'all right, bro.
Now once you
Tell
get
like
in
it
here, you don't just read them. You don't just study them. You apply them.
That's
you
right.
live them.
is. You practice, you live it.
And the biggest thing about living them is believing them.
You must.
If you don't believe them, you won't say
I
them.
know, right?
If you don't believe them, you won't practice them.
Right.
If you don't believe them, you'll flake in and flake out. 'Cause that's
Hallelujah.
how the flesh is.
Yes.
If you don't believe them, you'll just keep being up and down like
I
a
know,
roller
right?
coaster.
Y'all right, bro. Tell like
And
it is.
fully expect those who are following Yahweh that He's making into the image of His Son to ignore you,
Huh?
to not pay any attention to you.
Y'all right?
That's what you should fully expect.
You're
Why?
right.
Because Yahweh has trained us to look at people who are stable.
That's
Who are
right.
just like Yeshua.
Hallelujah.
We're looking at His Word we're becoming like Yeshua.
Yes.
If you're up and down, we're gonna ignore you. We won't be rude to you, but we're fully gonna just
Got
tune
no
you
time
out.
for that.
All right, Hebrews 12 and verse 1. This is the answer.
Hallelujah.
This is the answer to the cares of this world, to the thorns. 12 verse 1.
Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us.
Yes.
Roman Christianity has taken this verse and told you there's a grandstand of people up in Shemayim or heaven looking at you run this race. That's a lie.
Right? Y'all right.
There's
Tell like
nobody
it.
in Shemayim
Yahweh.
yet.
Sure.
Everybody's in the grave waiting on the resurrection. It said we're compassed about with a great cloud of witnesses.
Yes, we are.
Here's the witnesses right here. Yahweh is telling you
Yes.
who the witnesses are.
Yes.
And we're a part of those witnesses.
Yes, we are.
So he's saying, look at the witnesses. Don't look at the up and down roller coaster people.
I know, right?
Don't look at the Lone Ranger. Don't look at Tonto. Look at the witnesses Yahweh gave you and the people that are modeled after them.
Yes.
There's a great cloud of witnesses. So he said, lay aside those thorns and those different things that try to attack you, the cares of this world, and the sin that tries to come against you. And then he said, run with patience. We were talking before about that scripture where it says the children of this world are wiser than the children of light. Because the children of light have to learn how to pace themselves.
Right.
And because they're open and honest, they can, in their naivete and in their babyhood stage, assume everybody is open and honest like them.
Right.
No, people will tell you lie.
Yes.
Ran into somebody last night and they asked me when I graduated from high school, and I told them 1 year, and then they're gonna tell me they graduated 3 years, after I did. And Yahweh let me know. I know the person's older than I am,
Right.
but it's just something that little,
I
just
know,
so
right?
inconsequential. People just lie,
I know, right?
you understand? But so we have to just lay aside that and with patience pace ourselves, because we're running in a race. We're not running in a sprint. We're not running in a 100-yard dash. This is a marathon.
Yeah.
There's a strategy to running this race.
Yeah.
Yahweh tells you what the strategy is every day, multiple times a day.
Yes.
If you got those thorns in you, then you might be throwing off some stuff Yahweh is telling you. Because you I don't need to ask Yahweh about that. To think about, I don't need to pray about, I don't need to think about, I'll just do it this way. Well, take your hard head self on and get your head busted.
Right.
Let the thorns be pricking your head and the blood be running down.
Yeah.
And then when you come to the temple, we'll tell you, hey, sister, you got blood running down your head.
I know, right?
Brother, you got blood running down your head. Why would you do it that way when Yahweh told you to do it the other way?
Yes.
All right, let's read verses 2 and 3.
Verse 2. Looking unto Yeshua, the author and
Yes.
finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Elohim. Verse 3. For consider him that endures such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest ye be weary and faint in your minds.
Okay.
Yeah, so how do you stop from being distracted and being anxious? Look unto Yeshua,
That's it.
the author and finisher. Yahweh said he started a good work in you, and he's going to finish it to the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing that'll stop it
It just said.
is you or me
That's it.
not cooperating,
That's it.
Amen.
not trusting and knowing they know what they're doing. But
Hallelujah.
nobody else in the universe knows what they're doing.
I know, right?
Yahweh always knows. Yeshua always knows. So I have total confidence in that. We all should have total confidence in that.
It's a must.
That gets rid of all the anxiety, that
Yes.
gets rid of all the cares. When I focus on Yeshua, the author and the finisher of whatever he started, And then they gave the example, that's why he went to the cross.
Uh-huh.
Imagine how the Father's throne is, the heaven of heavens. It's nice, it's so beautiful, we can't even imagine how
Right,
beautiful
right.
it is.
Can.
We
Right.
have a description, but just imagine, Yeshua gave that up so he come down here to this
I
old
know,
raggedy, filthy, dark place to die for you and me so we could have a chance to escape.
Hallelujah. I told you.
He said,
Yahweh,
think
Yahweh.
about that. Think about all what he went through.
Yeah.
So you could be free, so you could be focused.
Yes.
Focused on that. And then he says, verse 3, consider, think about, meditate on who he was. He made the earth.
Right.
He made man. He came down here and lived among man. Think about the discipline he had to control himself.
Huh.
Looking at the creation that he made coming against him, telling him who he was and what he wasn't doing,
Praise
calling him
Yahweh.
a B-A-S-T-A-R-D,
I know, right?
because his father was Yahweh's power source, and his mother got pregnant before they came together and were married. He said, you think about that. He endured, he dealt with it. The contradiction of sinners, hata against himself. He said, lest you get weary. That's why I don't like to hear nobody say, yeah, I'm tired. Shut up! Yeshua gave you rest.
I know, right?
You are refreshed in Yahweh.
Yes, every
And
day.
you used to claim that out in the world. Don't be talking about you
I
weary
know,
and you
right?
tired. No, you're not. Yahweh has renewed your strength. He is
Everything.
renewing it.
Yes.
If you all prickly mind and got that crown of thorns on your head and you all bleeding and stuff, stop playing with that prickly ball.
I know, right?
Stop looking at that. He said, lest you be wearied and faint in your mind. Again, it starts with the mind.
That's it.
And then what's in your mind comes out of your mouth.
Yes, it does.
And you better put that, Yahweh said he put a lock on your mouth. You better stop using the key to unlock it unless
I know,
you're going to
right?
say what Yahweh says in his word.
That's it.
Why? Because you're shooting your own self in the foot.
Uh-huh.
You're committing suicide every time you open your mouth up and you say what's against what Yahweh
Tell it
said.
like it is.
Go to Luke the 5th chapter.
Hallelujah, Yahweh.
So being drawn in different directions come with losing focus.
Yeah, yeah.
People who lose focus think over and over about situations and
I know,
what
right?
the answer is.
I know,
They
right?
don't consult Yahweh.
Overthinking.
They let the world tell them, or they let
Yeah.
themselves tell them, and it's always negative.
Yeah.
What the flesh will tell you, what the world will tell you.
Yeah.
It's always hopeless. There's always no
I
way.
know, right?
You're listening to the devil when
Yes.
you're running that stuff over in
Tell it
your
like
life.
it is, Roy.
Yahweh does not need anybody puzzling over what he's doing in the earth.
Oh, no.
He didn't call you for that. He needs
Hallelujah.
nobody
Hallelujah, Yahweh.
to double think what he's doing in the earth.
All right.
That's a waste of time. Luke 5, and let's read verse 21 and 22.
Praise Yahweh.
Luke chapter 5 and verse 21. And the scribes and the Pharisees began to reason, saying, who is this which speaketh blasphemy? Who can forgive sins but Elohim alone? Verse 22. But when Yeshua perceived their thoughts, he answering said unto them, what reason ye in your heart?
So Yeshua picked it up. What you dissecting what I'm doing for? He said, what's wrong with you? He didn't say anything about, let me explain. No, he said, what's wrong with you?
Right.
Go to Mark the 2nd chapter. So there's something wrong with people.
Yeah.
They're going to keep thinking over and over and over about
I know,
something.
right?
And the answer is
Overthinking.
right in the word, and
Yes,
they
it
won't
is.
go get it. They don't trust Yahweh.
That's
They
about
don't
right.
believe Yahweh, and they're on the devil's side in this area. And they need to see that and correct it and stop doing it.
Yes.
Mark 2 and verse 8.
Hallelujah.
Mark chapter 2 and verse 8. And immediately when Yeshua perceived in his spirit that they so reasoned within themselves, he said unto them, why reason ye these things in your heart?
Now he's there to tell them. He came to tell us how to connect with Yahweh
Okay.
and how to listen to Yahweh and let Yahweh show us how to do things. If you didn't know it, Yahweh is supposed to be instructing and teaching and leading you
Yes.
and telling you what to do.
Yes.
It said, immediately when Yeshua perceived in his Ruach that they were thinking within themselves. See, Yahweh's not out of it. Yahweh is not involved in that at all.
Nope.
He talks about a man in scripture that prayed with himself. And he even used the words in scripture. This man that stood up and he prayed with himself. But when you stand up to pray, who are you supposed to be praying to? Yahweh. You're going to pray within yourself. What's the point of that? What can I do within myself?
Right, within
What can you do within yourself?
Nothing.
So it says here, they're thinking, they reasoning within themselves, thinking they have the answer. The answer's not in me. The answer is not in you.
No, it's not.
Stop asking yourself questions.
Sure.
Ask Yahweh. Yahweh said in James, if any man lack wisdom, ask him.
Yep, you have not because you ask not.
Go to 1 Corinthians, the 2nd chapter. So he's trying to help him out. So what you
Right.
thinking over and over in your mind what the answer is not
Right.
in you.
Overthinking.
The answer is not in you.
No, it never will.
That's why Yeshua had to come.
Right.
1 Corinthians 2, and let's read verse 16, please.
Hallelujah.
1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 16. For who hath known the mind of Yeshua, that ye may instruct him? But we have the mind of Mashiach.
Now we're getting to know the mind of Yahweh. The world don't know.
Nope.
Your flesh doesn't know and doesn't want to know. Will never want to know. So there's a part of me and a part of you that will be with you till you leave here.
Yes.
Bucking against Yahweh. But the flesh gets smaller and smaller.
Yes.
The more you listen to Yahweh to tell you how to control that flesh.
Yes.
And you recognize and tell the flesh to shut up. And the way you do that is you get in Yahweh's word and you believe what Yahweh's telling you. And you learn to control that flesh. It says,
Yes.
who's known the pay of the mind of Yahweh or Yeshua, that he may Musar instruct him, tell him what to do. But our stupid flesh will stand up and try to tell Yahweh what to do. Or people will call you on the phone and try to tell you what you're supposed to be doing.
I know, right?
And woe to you if you listen to them now. Woe, woe, woe to you.
Yeah.
Right? It says nobody's instructing Yahweh, but we have the pay, the mind of Mashiach.
Yes.
We got it
Give
now.
to us.
We're tuned in. We can hear what
Yes.
Yahweh is telling us. That's why we know when there's some garbage trying to come in.
I know, right?
It's like, oh no, you leave that right in the garbage
That
can.
right?
All right, go to 1 Corinthians, and let's start the first chapter. We want to start at verse 20. 1 Corinthians, the first chapter, verse 20. So rest assured, you have the mind
Yes, we
of
do.
the Messiah. You've gone through the process. Matter of fact, you've been filled with the fire. You got the water, now you have the fire. Now, whether you're going to use it or leave it sitting on a shelf in your
I
mind,
know, right?
it's totally up to you.
Yep.
But I would recommend, if you want everything to be easy and you want everything to be effortless, that you take that off the shelf and dust it off and
It's wonderful.
use it. 1 Corinthians 1 verse 20.
1 Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 20. Where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Hath not Elohim made foolish the wisdom of this world?
Now, so whoever's coming to tell you, once you get in Yahweh's word and you see what he says, it's easy to discern whether or not it's Yahweh.
I know, right?
It's not like you don't listen to when people are saying something, but when they come with some stuff that's just super dumb.
I know.
It's just, somebody was talking to me and trying to give me some reasons why they want to throw away Kepha or Peter and say why he wasn't really a good disciple and you couldn't really look at the things that he did, and the main thing was they said because he denied Yeshua when he was getting ready to be crucified. But once he started on that, his first words out of his mouth about, yeah, well, you know what, and so I don't Peter this and this and this. And I told him I don't want to hear it.
Right.
And then he tried throwing those couple of scriptures out and he had to get firmer. I said, look, I don't want to hear it. You believe what you believe,
That's it.
but I don't want to hear it.
Right, right.
And I mean it. So then he stopped. It's like, you know what? I have a choice now. And don't make me do na.
Praise
So
Yahweh.
where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? They come against what Yahweh said. They don't believe it.
Right, right.
All right? It said, had not the mighty one made foolish the wisdom of this world.
Yeah.
Why? Because he's doing things opposite of the way they think they should be done.
Right, right.
So whoever talking about what the H-E-L-L you think you're doing, then you understand. They don't understand.
Right.
And Yahweh didn't set you up to explain it to them either. Yahweh didn't set you up to explain to nobody to prove to anybody that he called you or me.
Right.
And if you're going on that journey, woe be unto you. You better pack a lunch, you better pack dinner, because you're going to be on that journey for the rest of your
I
life.
know, right.
And you're not going to do what Yahweh said.
Right.
And this same person that's talking about what Kiefer wasn't, told me for 26 years they've been waiting on Yahweh. They believe they're called into the ministry, but they're waiting on Yahweh to confirm it. Yahweh don't take 26 years.
I know, right?
All right? But meanwhile, they're going from temple to temple, trying to instruct people how to run the temple. Just pray for these people.
That's
Okay?
it.
You understand? Until Yahweh tells you not to pray for
That's
them.
it.
He tells you, some people now, don't pray for them.
Uh-huh.
He's got at least, 3 or 4 scriptures in Jeremiah.
Right.
He said, don't pray for those people because I'm not going to hear your prayer.
Right.
All right, 21.
Verse 21. For after that, in the wisdom of Elohim, the world by wisdom knew not Elohim. It pleased Elohim by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe.
So
Yes.
Yahweh said, oh, okay, so
Yes.
the world don't like that. That's exactly what we're going to do.
Right, right.
Yahweh and Yeshua said, yeah, that's exactly how we're going to do it.
Hallelujah.
Because the devil, number one, who's the head of the world, and the people that are following, they don't like doing it that way. And then he said, yes, let's
Right.
do it that way.
Right.
After that, the Kokma, the wisdom of mighty one, the world by wisdom, they knew not. They decided they didn't want Yahweh. Then it pleased Yahweh. He said, okay, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to have people stand behind podiums. We're going to have read the word.
Right.
And we're going to have the power source tell them what the
Hallelujah.
word means.
Hallelujah.
And we're going to have them take notes. This is how we're going to do it because they don't like it.
Right.
All right? Let's go to Psalms 55.
Hallelujah.
So Thayer's Greek lexicon defines cares as relating to a verse in Psalms 55. And it's about those who don't trust Yahweh.
Okay.
And again, you can tell people who don't trust Yahweh because they don't say what Yahweh said in His Word.
That right.
They like what they think better. So they're always crying and moaning and groaning about how bad things are.
Right.
When Yahweh said, everything is all good because
Yes,
you're
it is.
attached to Him.
With Yahweh and Yeshua.
So somebody's lying. And Yahweh said He
It ain't
can't lie.
Yahweh.
Okay.
So then I choose you. If you're saying something different than Yahweh said, I choose you to be the liar.
Yes, yes.
Respectfully.
Yes.
Yes.
So my father said he can't lie, so somebody lying up
I
in
know,
there.
right?
Psalms 55 verse 23.
Hallelujah.
Psalms chapter 55 and verse 23. But thou, O Elohim, shalt bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee.
Yes.
Yeah, so you have two classes
Yes.
of people here. And this is related, I'm talking about cares, right? Those who are anxious and those who are
Right.
distracted,
Right.
who lost their focus.
Uh-huh.
They're not focused on Yahweh and Yeshua. They're not understanding why they're here on the earth. He said, but thou, O Elohim, shall bring them down into the pit of destruction.
Yeah.
So you know in Revelation it talks about the wicked one, the devil, being put in a pit for 1,000 years. Look, Yahweh got some pits for those that follow him too.
Okay.
The pit of destruction said, bloody and deceitful Adama men shall not kaya or live out half their Yama days. But now, here's this other person. I'm going to batak or trust in Yahweh.
That's it.
Hallelujah.
That's what we're doing all the days of our life, trusting in Yahweh. And not only trusting Him, but growing more in trust and
Each and
more
every
in
day.
love.
Yes.
Every day.
That's right, increasing in trust.
Every day.
Let's go to Luke, the 8th chapter. So we know the devil is the head of the group that doesn't trust Yahweh.
That right.
Amen.
So if you're reading Yahweh's word and you're not saying what Yahweh said, you done joined the devil's band.
I know,
All
right?
right? Like Cornelius was of the Italian band, you are the devil's band.
Okay.
You're not of Yahweh's band. If you don't stand up and say what Yahweh said in His Word and confirm what Yahweh said in His Word, then bottom line, you are of the devil's band. You are following the devil.
That's
You're
it.
standing up calling Yahweh a lie. And Yahweh cannot lie. You're the one that's lying.
Amen.
You're the one that needs more understanding about where Yahweh said to say what I say.
Yes.
Yahweh said, I'm the one that tells you what's going on in your
Hallelujah.
life. I'm the one that tells you
Praise
who you are.
the mighty
I'm
God.
the one that tells you what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Luke 8. And then somebody come along. Well, see, you're not supposed to be doing that for Yahweh. Again, who's lying?
I know, right?
Am I going to side with the liar, or am I going to continue going with Yahweh? Luke 8, verse 11.
Hallelujah.
Luke chapter 8 and verse 11. Now, the parable is this. The seed is the word of Elohim.
Yeah.
Verse 12.
Verse 12. Those by the wayside are they that hear. Then cometh the devil and taketh away the word out of their hearts, lest they should believe and be saved.
Now, and you can tell whether the word got in their ruach, their spirit, or their mind, or their inner man, because it'll come out of their mouth.
Yeah.
It says, when they hear the word, Yahweh's trying to plant. He
Right.
said that we're like a garden. We are a garden. We have replaced the Garden of Eden or Eden. He's planting His word in
All right.
us.
All
All right? He's planting the seed of His word in us, and it gets planted when we hear it and then we say it. It said, those by the wayside, they hear the word, but they don't let it get planted within them, because here come the devil, right? He takes away the word out of their mind, out of their heart, so they don't say the word, they say the opposite. Yahweh says everything is light and easy. They come in groaning and complaining.
I know, right?
Oh, it's so hard. Oh, that's the most worst thing. And then ask Yahweh for a blessing. Yahweh give him a vehicle. Oh, that's the worst. Oh, Yahweh, I don't know why, Let the vehicle have to have an oil change or a tune-up. You hear them saying the opposite. Yahweh bless them with a house or whatever
I
He
know,
give them.
right?
And then give them 6 months. Yeah, this house is just so... Forget about the fact that Yahweh blessed them with it, and they got it
Hallelujah.
rent-free, mortgage-free for 6
I
months.
know, right?
You understand? But that's just saying they got the wayside. They hear it, but it's not coming out of their mouth, so they didn't get it.
Nope.
They didn't get it. Lest they should believe and be saved.
Yes.
That's how you and I come to believe.
Yes.
We hear the word and we say the word to ourselves. We shouldn't have to sit up under a teacher or a preacher to say the word to us.
Right.
I should be the first one saying the word to
I know,
myself.
every day, all day.
If you got to sit up under somebody to say the word to you, then you don't get it. You don't understand what it's about. You're supposed to be saying the word to yourself
Every day, all
every day, all day. Verse 13.
Praise Yahweh.
Verse 13. They on the rock are they, which, when they hear, receive the word with
Yes.
joy. And these have no root, which for a while believe, and in time of temptation fall away.
All right, so then you got some people that come in, they hear Yahweh's word. Then if anything looks like it's negative or it's coming against it,
right?
or somebody say, well, oh, you go to that temple?
Yeah.
Oh, you believe that?
I know,
Or
right?
well, see, something happened with this person and that this person is doing this or that. Then it said, that's being on the rock. They're like that prison. What's that, Alcatraz in New York? And it's on a rock or something out there. It said, they on the rock are the ones that when they hear it, they heard it, they received the word, ooh, praise Yahweh, I'm so glad I heard the word. Oh, I've been waiting to hear this all the rest of my life.
I know,
That's why when you've been in this thing a while, we're very watchful of people that do that.
He says the fact.
They just get so overjoyed and so happy. It's like, okay, let's see how long they go.
I know, right?
Look up 6 months on where they go. Why? They're not pacing themselves.
All right.
They just, oh, just so wonderful. Oh, just so, I just love where you gonna be 6 months, a year from now? Where you gonna be 5 years from now? You haven't learned to pace yourself. They on the rock. They believe for a while, and then in the day of temptation, something else good comes up,
I know,
they
right?
fall away.
Uh-huh.
Why? Because they didn't trust Yahweh. They didn't
All right?
they didn't get it. Verse 14.
Verse 14. And that which fell among thorns are they which, when they have heard, go forth and are choked with cares and riches and pleasures of this life, and bring no fruit to perfection.
They don't grow up. Nope.
Right.
They don't grow up, and you see them are all around you.
Uh-huh.
And there's not as many grown-ups as there are children.
Huh.
Okay, you know
Right.
how a couple can have, maybe 3 or 4
Right,
children.
right.
It's only 2 of them, but they have
Right,
more.
that's
All right. So spiritual grown-ups
Let's
is
go
not
to
as
the
many
spiritual.
spiritual grown-ups as there are spiritual
Right.
children. And some of them don't want to grow up. So you have to recognize those and
Yeah.
invest your efforts in the ones Yahweh tell
Yes.
you want to grow up.
Yes.
All right? He said, they that fell among thorns. So you see all these traps that the devil has for you, but it's no cause for concern. Yahweh will show you the way to navigate
Yes.
through
Yes.
the waters of the people
Hallelujah.
and not get bitten by the sharks.
That right?
You won't get touched by the sharks. They won't even know you're passing by.
Right?
All right? And they'll have the big old teeth out there trying to get you, but Yahweh shows you the way to navigate through so you
Yes.
become untouched. Let's go to John, the 14th chapter. So there's a lot of, the devil got a lot of activity going on
Yes,
trying
he
to choke.
does.
And then I had said
More
this once
today than
before.
ever.
In Roman Christianity, in certain circles, they talk about how the devil's busy. Yahweh is busier.
I know, right?
Yahshua is busier.
Yep. Trying to get people to get it.
And I hope we get to the scripture where it shows that Yahweh and Yeshua gave the devil the finger.
Uh-huh.
So we don't have to do nothing but just stand behind them.
That's it.
Yahweh and Yeshua have already given the devil the
Praise the
finger.
mighty Yah.
All right, John 14 and verse 27.
Hallelujah.
John chapter 14 and verse 27. Peace I leave with you.
Yes.
My peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled,
Never.
neither let it be afraid.
He's saying guard against that now.
Don't be afraid.
Because
of
there's
nothing.
plenty of opportunities.
Yeah.
And I don't understand this. Some people will go to these horror movies and like I said, I don't understand that. And some people enjoy it, like you're seeing the blood, get somebody's head cut off. But like I said, I'm not one that does that.
Yeah.
But some people like to put that in their spirit.
I like the congregation to repeat this after me. Hallelujah. I'm at the right place
I'm at the right place.
at the right time.
At the right time.
I'm at the right place
I'm at the right place.
at the right time.
At the right time.
I'm at the right place
I'm at the right place.
at the right time.
At the right time.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
That was on my mind today. I'm at the right place at the right time. When I got baptized, I said, this is where I won't be. I'm going to stick to my promise.